The absolute basics into advanced combat techniques, especially focusing on blocking, perfect blocking, and using your Umbral lantern to its maximum effect, plus a little tip to heal yourself throughout the whole journey, even if you're out of your healing cross. Every weapon comes with a standard light attack, and here you want to especially pay attention how much forward a weapon brings you. With this hammer, I just travel over the whole distance, which is fantastic because it always brings you close to your enemy. Whereas the spear barely gets me forward in comparison. Now, on top of your standard attack, you can charge up your heavy attack, which again barely brings me forward. The range is okay, but you often end up not poking an enemy. But there's also the charged attack, and these do various things. For my spear, for example, I do actually knock people down straight away. Yes, if they're not having super hyper armor, they end up on the ground, and you can always follow up with heavy attacks, light attacks, and just have them locked down. Very good. When it comes down to the hammer, it has an overhead landing smasher, which is a bit harder to hit because of range, and it doesn't instantly knock down. It does do a good portion of stagger though. And there's one thing about combat to pay attention to as well. You see that the damage on these guys is red. Red means that they're vulnerable to this type of damage. If it's white, well then it's just what it is. And if it's gray, then they were actually resistant to that type of damage. You get the little witch here. Boom. Also vulnerable. Him, he's a Rogar. And now with my charge R2, you see how much more forward I get with this, right? This brings me leagues forward. Therefore, very good weapon for doing these charge attacks as a gap closer as you're standing out of your opponent's reach and just jump straight in there. Now you can also mix your light and heavy attacks. Obviously it's 1, 2, and then you straight up go into the charge, which sometimes can be better than doing a charge attack straight away. 1 and then charge, because it comes a bit faster. Like if I do the charge attack here, it takes seemingly so long to charge up, but with a left into charge, it is a wee bit faster. Same goes for the hammer. We're going for 1 charge. Where are you going for the charge? It just feels ages in comparison. Now you can block a hit and you can perfect block a hit. Blocking will give you wither damage. Let's boop him. Boop boop. And here, bit of wither damage. If he hits me straight again, that wither is gone. If I hit right away back, see some wither damage, I hit back, I regain my wither. Now there's also perfect blocking, and that will do insane posture damage to him. His posture is the little circle in his chest. And there's the perfect. Works against bosses really well as they have easily telegraphed attacks. Now you can do this with a shield or without a shield. Doesn't really matter. And yes, you noticed as I staggered him, I didn't actually get any wither damage. The advantage of a shield over your weapon is that the block protection is higher. Right now my hammer would do 23% physical, 28% holy. But if I actually get a shield, that would be 45% instead. Quite huge. Only downside is it weighs 7.2. So right now with my hammer, I would end up being heavy, and I would actually have to either put off my armor, which would be a bummer, or probably my gloves to, like, I don't know, pilgrim's bandages to go back to medium, so I'm not super clunky. Now let's boop him. Still do tremendous amounts of damage. And the wither is minimal, absolutely minimal. It might be better for you to perfect guard with a shield because it just makes more sense, right? Also, the stagger seems to be higher. They're going to say, Pony, what if I'm bad at guarding? What if I'm bad at not getting it perfectly up? Well, the theory here is rather block than just get hit, because you can always regain your HP. And if you just get hit, your HP is gone, right? So even if you suck at it, you might as well just stand here and take the hit. Because at the end of the day, I do this and my HP is completely back. And over time, you will actually learn to perfect block. And that will make you even more efficient. Now, finding the perfect moment can be tough. What helps is to not look at the weapons, to kind of look at the enemy's shoulders. Because the shoulders kind of telegraph the attack the most. Mine doesn't really help if the enemy doesn't have shoulders, but you get the drift. When his shoulders are moving, he's usually attacking. And again, rather block than get hit. And when you stagger them, you just refill all the HP that you blocked straight away. Now keep in mind, you can mix your movement sets, and that's where the advanced combat comes in. So we can just block him, not even perfect, just block him, then swap to our two-handed attacking and two-handed attack him. Because you can fluently swap, right? We have this out, we block, and then boom, straight up back and going for it. And the game really wants you to do that. I can even go mid-swing, then go back to two-handed and be like the two-handed. And I can swing two-handed, go one-handed, bam. They want you to kind of fight that way. The system is intended that way. Now they hit me, they withered me, and I'm going back. You get many opponents pushing you. Always go to your shield, and then straight up go back to the two-handed and just two-handed clap him. There is a huge advantage to truly just carrying your shield with you in any kind of fight. The boss is doing a mad combination that you don't know how to block. Well, block, back to two-handed, wither, regain. Simple as it goes. Now, how are we going to use our Umbral Lantern in the combat? First, you can rip out the souls of your opponents, and that's especially efficient against bosses because it usually just fills up their stagger bar half. Right now, you can rip the soul out, and then you can combat the soul. And as soon as he returns into it, well, I mean, he's dead, right? That works on bigger, tougher opponents as well, especially to rip half of his HP out as easy as possible. Now, alternating between two-handed and one-handed, keep in mind to always have your two-handed up when you're doing your charge attack, when you run up to someone. And you can go back to the shield and be ready against any kind of opponent, right? Big ones, small ones. Run, shield, multiple ones, get a little bit withered, double hit him, dead. Easy clap. Now, there's two methods to heal in the Umbral realm, even if you're completely out of heals. And that's quite good to continuously stay healthy. The first one would be ripping life force out of living beings. These guys are alive. They're no Umbral denizens. So I can R1 my lantern to get a little bit wither out of them. The bigger the opponent, the more wither you can kind of siphon out of them. But there's an even interesting thing. You know these red blisters or the blue blisters? The blue blisters give you a wee tiny bit of wither back. Here, that is a blue one now. Boom. Nice, right? So that's a little bit of a heal. That's not really the pinnacle of this. What we're talking about now is the red ones. And the red ones are strewn throughout the world quite a lot. And if you suck them dry... Well, hello there. Yeah. That is half my HP bar with two of those. Now you just gotta wait for an Umbral Denizen to spawn. And there we are. Back in top fighting shape, even if you don't have a single heal. Now keep in mind, when you're fighting opponents of any strength, of any size, of anything, never roll backwards. Never do this. Never try to get away. Because they go, like, you notice, he travels insanely far forward with an attack. It might hit you regardless. You want to go left or into them. Because then you're also always in range. Since if I go back, I can't hit him, right? Kind of like a bummer. But if I go forward or sideways, I'm always in range to hurt him. And you can run behind them, stab him. And while they do weird casts and have downtimes in what they do. And yes, even if you need to heal, it's better to dash through your opponent and then take your heal rather than trying to make some distance. Now, if you really can't get used to this, your best friend is to actually unlock, because then you can just go a little bit further. So right now we're locked on, right? Even if I roll back, there's not much distance. But if I really want to go away now, I unlock, get a bit away, and then I heal. Now, the unlocking and rolling away kind of also ties in nicely with magic. If you want to use magic, especially as you notice an opponent might be too strong for you, then you can always obviously begin from the front. But as soon as he has closed with you, you might want to then just unlock, right? So they're getting closer. I unlock, so I get more distance between us. And then I can relock to be able to use my magic. Now he's again close to me. Make a big distance, right? Because the roll is kind of OP. Now we have big distance between us, and I can just spam him dead. Any other combat tips you wish to share with the community? Anything you have noticed that helped you a lot? And also, if you're still struggling with choosing your class or want to be part of the Platinum journey, enjoy.